Okey-doke. Hello, ValorGoBurrrrrr. First question is, I'm new to Volibear, this being one of my first games. Any tips to play into ranged matchups? Generally, in any of these like ranged matchups, Volibear really sucks in top lane. There's no way around it, because Volibear is designed to like really beat down melee champions. It doesn't have any tools to deal with the ranged champions, so you kind of have to just endure the matchup, to put it simply. But yeah, we'll get into the specifics of that. How could I be more efficient? Could I have played lane differently? Anything you see I should improve on? Okie doke, so let's get into it. Just right off the bat, the runes don't make any sense. Since we're playing into Teemo, Grasp of the Undying will never be doing anything. So with Volibear, it's kind of difficult, but with most melee champions, you just want to run Unsealed Spellbook. With Unsealed Spellbook, it's going to give you access to the extra summoner spells, since you won't even be using the Keystone in the laning phase. So you could run that, you get free boots with it as well, and then you can get biscuits, and then Cosmic Insight or Approach Velocity. Probably just Cosmic Insight so you can have more TPs to go to the bot side of the map or mid lane, anywhere but top lane basically, so you can have some impact. And yeah, that's going to be a more useful rune setup, and then you can still run the useful parts of the Resolve Tree with Second Wind, and then Revitalize in the secondary runes as well. So yeah, run Unsealed Spellbook with Resolve Secondary to start off with most melee champions into ranged champions top, particularly like the really beefy ones, Volibear, Malphite, champions like that, because we're not going to be able to utilize the Grasping and Dying in lane. So whenever you're playing into a matchup like this, it's okay to start E just to get the first 3 melee minions, and then you just cast it once and kind of just back off. So like getting these minions for free, nice, but usually the team will hit you for those, and then you can spin the E so that you don't take any damage, and then you just wait for the wave to be pushed into you, which is basically what we're doing. Very nice of Teemo to never hit us, but yeah. Now he hits level 2, and then you don't want to be moving all over the place, you know, whenever the wave's coming into you. It's as simple as like let the wave come into you and then stand out of range of Teemo, but in range of XP if the minions were to die. So since none of these minions are going to be dying, the ones you really have to pay attention to is the caster minions, because your caster minions will be focusing the enemies. Since this caster minion won't be dying, you won't be missing out on any XP, so just simply stand still like right here and wait for the wave to come into you. A bunch of random movement, you know, you might just accidentally end up in position to take damage. Especially if the Teemo's better, right? If the Teemo's better, he just moves past the wave and then starts autoing you from there. Or even just throwing the Q at you, and taking any damage at all is no good. We have Doran's Ring as well, very offensive. Doran's Shield being way better. Doran's Shield and Second Wind is so much easier to endure the Teemo, since he has that damage over time. Yoke. And then whenever the wave's coming in like this, like don't try to move past or anything, you'll take the damage from the minions. Just try to last hit and get as much CS as you can. It's really not about attacking the Teemo like this. But yeah, the flash onto him, it just doesn't make any sense. The whole goal here is to get the CS. You do. Okay, I guess the replay broke. Riot Games. Gidok. So yeah, with this lane state, right? This wave's coming to us no matter what. The next wave is coming, as we can see on the mini-map, so that next wave's coming in as well. You don't want to move past the minion wave to try to attack the Teemo. No matter what, if you get onto him, let's say you land everything, it's not going to kill him, and it's not going to matter. So you just want to be playing for the CS here. So use the E. The E is all of our damage right now. And then we Q towards him. If Teemo's faster, right, he just Qs you as you flash in, and then you don't even get the stun off here. And as you can see, that damage does not matter at all. So, not a good play. Okay, good E there. And that's really what you're looking for. Just last hit the minions and then land the E onto Teemo when you can. If we have the Unsealed Spellbook too, we have Biscuits, and that allows us to cast more E's in the lane, since we don't even really have to cast the W or the Q. Rarely you might have to cast the W to CS. So you could get a lot of E's off on the Teemo and then kind of weaken him. If you've ever played Nasus, you can max E into Teemo and actually beat him, even though Teemo's considered a counter. If you just spam the E on top of him with Doran's Ring. Very classic thing. And Volibear is kind of the same. Just a little bit longer cooldown on that E. And a lot harder to land, to be fair. Alrighty, and then with this lane state, you don't have to recall. Hopefully you stay here. Oh man, you don't have to recall. The Teemo can't kill you. He doesn't have Ignite. And yeah, the wave is fine here. It's fine just to stay top for the resources here, so this recall is no good. We purchase the Sheen and then walk back to lane. We're really just kind of on the back foot here. Now focusing for the CS, Teemo has 28 to our 21, and it's not even about beating the Teemo in CS. Like we could be at around probably 40 CS, right? If we factor in like going down a couple CS since we're in the melee versus ranged matchup, but where you just play to attack the Teemo hasn't amounted to anything, and then you're not as strong as you could be. If you had more CS, you could have Sheen plus a longsword if you're going for the Divine Sunder. So things like that are really, really important. But you also have to know like if you can kill this champion or not. So like with this sort of attack, right? You're saying this is your first game of ValorGoBurrrrrr. That sort of attack, like that's the repercussions of it. So you have to do things like that to learn it. So don't feel like you should never attack the enemy or anything. You know, playing a game out like this with your first game is kind of the best way to do it. Run into the enemy and see if you can kill him, but we can't kill him. We've learned that levels 1 to 5-ish. Okie doke. And there's not much to really do in a lane like this other than, you know, push it whenever it's pushing towards them and then see if you can roam mid. Because you're never really going to attack the Teemo without your jungler. Teemo's overstayed though, right? He's sitting on 1,300 gold, so this is really good for us. You're getting like away with it basically. The Teemo hasn't done anything to attack you in any right ways from minutes 0 to 7 here. So that's honestly not even that good for us because we don't have a good example of like how Teemo can beat us down and why it's really, really important to play for the CS early. Play for like the resources, not for just hitting the bad guy. Okie doke, so wave's coming into us, but the Teemo's too weak, so you can actually contest the wave. Okay, and you just keep autoing the melee minions here. The Teemo has no mana. He's just auto attacks, only Adoran's Ring, so you have the ability just to push the wave into the Teemo and then go do something else, you know? If you go through the enemy red side here, you can end up behind his ear, and then if Cinder gets a good trade, you can just tower dive him with your ult, for example. Something like that is really good. So that you can just get out of this lane and get something done. So yeah, playing like this on the wave is just super unnecessary because the Teemo is so absolutely weak. Let him auto attack you once so that you can see the damage he deals and you would realize like it doesn't matter. Okay, nice. Now we're unleashing on the wave, as we should be. And then just one mine after the other. And as you can see, they don't deal like any meaningful damage. And with no ignite for your ulti too, like, yeah, you have a lot against him. If you would just push him in, if you would just crash this wave against him, because standing still, like looking at him in lane, he's never gonna move into you, like in such a way where he's weaker, so that you would be able to counterattack, right? You know, let's say he's right here, he's never gonna move to like right here to get a random auto on you. At least he shouldn't, right? So then you could attack him. It's fine just to shove the wave and then, you know, go from there. Get a recall off or stay and hit the turret because he's too weak to hit you under turret. And you could get some turret play going. But yeah, this is... One of the questions was, how could I be more efficient? That's kind of part of it, managing the wave in such a way. Because there's really not much to talk about in terms of the matchup here, because it's really a non-matchup. Neither one of you... Well, Teemo beats you naturally, and then there's nothing for ValorGoBurrrrrr really to do about it. These recalls don't make any sense either. Like, level 9 to his level 9, you have him locked in lane. For some reason, like, he's not recalling, and he doesn't have the ability to kill you because he's just Doran's Ring, so, like, why recall here? It doesn't make any sense. Just stay in lane and then stay on the wave so that you get more golden XP. And you can even just, like I said, you can just cast the E on the wave and then just shove him in. There's nothing you can do about that. He doesn't have enough damage. So then we recall and then get the Phage and boots, but Teemo gets to recall. And then we use our TP to top lane, which the only way we're going to have impact is TPing to mid lane or TPing to bot lane or any fight that's happening like on the Dragon or maybe a Rift Herald or something. Like, we want to be TPing to these fights, we don't want to be TPing for our lane. in these matchups where we can't interact with our laner or beat our laner. Now, if we're playing into like a melee champion top lane, we can probably beat them down, and it's fine to TP to our lane to play for getting ourselves stronger. But where we can't just run into a Teemo and kill them on cooldown, that's a bummer. But maybe we can TP bot and run at them and kill them. I've never seen this Ezreal build. Shirelda's first. Yeah, you've cracked the code, man. That's the secret build. So about the same sort of things are just going to happen here. And now you shove the wave right, like just walk mid. It's going to take the Teemo a long time to farm this, and he's already shown that he's not like willing to shove a wave himself. So, you know, you push that wave, and then this is what they would see. Or that's what we see. This is what they would see. So if we just walk through the river or through the enemy red side and then go behind mid, you can attack the mid laner. And then if that doesn't work out, you don't have to force it. You know, let's say it doesn't look like a good gank. You can just walk back top, and that wave that Teemo has here, if he chose to shove it, you'll be able to collect most of it under turret. And there's basically like no, you're not losing out on a huge amount by doing something like that. But standing still in lane, you're not achieving anything, since you can't attack the Teemo or the turret. Okey-doke. Naturally, Teemo's proving me wrong. It's finding a way. W. Nice. Okey-doke. So we played this okay. Teemo uses the Q. We use the Q towards him. E, Q, auto, W, auto. And then after the auto, you want to be clicking past him. And then ulti, you know, whenever you're ulting, don't try to ulti right on top of them. Try to, you know, ulti past them, so because they're always going to be running away. You can get more distance and then not have to spin your flash, maybe. Good enough. We've taken out the Teemo. We've done the impossible. The Teemo doesn't have TP, so it would have been fine to stay top and then push out another wave and take one turret play. That's how much time you have. Oh, turret plates are gone. Whatever. Push out one wave and then just recall. Since this fight's happening bot side, this is what we would see. Since the jungler can't be there and the Teemo doesn't have TP, you could stay top and push out one more wave and then get a recall off so that you just recall with more gold. Okey-doke, so we have the Divine Sunder. If we push that one wave, we wouldn't have an extra component there, but still would just have more gold and then deny the Teemo a little bit. So this is a really long game, so I'm gonna have to skip around a little bit. But for the first part of it, for the laning phase, it's not a great example because this is a non-matchup for the Volibear. Volibear, like I said, you want to pick him into a melee matchup, but into the ranged matchups, the first step is like run the different runes. If we have an Ignite, a Ghost, a Cleanse, a Heal, an Exhaust, a Barrier from Summoner Spellbook, that's going to help us out a whole lot more in this lane than Grasp of the Undying does. And then, like I said, you can get the better parts with Second Wind and Revitalize still in the secondary runes. You're not missing out on much, and you're gaining access to a lot of extra utility from the Inspiration Tree. You get the free boots, you get the biscuits, and you get Cosmic Insight for more TPs, more flashes. So run the different runes. And then two, like in the first part of the lane, just farm. Like your whole goal, levels like 1 to 5, is to let the wave come into you and then CS it perfectly. It's not to kill the Teemo. Once you're level 6, you can start entertaining that, especially if you get a read on him. Feel him out if he sucks, like this guy kind of does. So, yeah, and then whenever he crashes a big wave will be pushing towards him. So whenever you have a big wave pushing towards him, or even just extra minions, right? You could have 3 extra caster minions with the next minion wave that's coming in. You want to just try to push that wave into him if he's giving you the chance, and then go do something else. Like, go walk in the river, go find berries, go find the enemy jungler, go put a control word down. Or ideally, you roam mid, kill him, or even look for a dive or something. Because if your jungler's not coming top, which he probably shouldn't, Warwick, Volibear versus a Teemo, just go try to get something done elsewhere. To do so, later in the lane, roam. It's as simple as that. Push the wave and roam. Okie doke. So I'm going to skip around to the dragon fights here, since it's a super, super long game. how you play out the lane is going to be the way that you get strong, and then how you play out the dragon fights or just the fights around objectives or even random fights that happen on the map because it's solo queue and it's bound to happen. How you play out those fights is going to determine like if you win the game or not. So let's see. Doke, the dragon's coming up. You have TP, so just go to the dragon. You want to be fighting with your team all the time here on ValorGoBurrrrrr. You don't want to be staying top like this. And then you don't want to have to TP into the fight either. You'd rather TP back to lane. Randomly taking the blue buff does not help anyone. Oh my god. The enemy showing up super late to the dragon, so I guess there's not even a fight, huh? Let's go ahead and skip to about right here. Nothing really changes for us. You ended up winning the lane, which is super bizarre, but all props to Teemo. Finding a way to lose, huh? Which, to be fair, the only like glaring mistake you made in terms of like how you would lane against the Teemo, since he was like playing so defensively, was running past the minion wave and then flashing on him. Let's go back a little bit. So the fight starts here and then we TP in. Let me see how this gets started. When it loads, give her time. Okie doke. Feel like it went really far back, but whatever. Blitz throws the hook, it misses, and then we TP in. That's always a bummer. Relying on our ally CC and then it doesn't go. So whenever you're going into this, you have to consider where your allies are. Our Blitzcrank and Warwick might as well be like a million miles away because it's so hard for them to get to this fast enough. And then Syndra's over here, so committing to this can potentially be like really hard. Or it will just be you, which isn't too bad. We're level 14. We're humongous. We're level 14 compared to all these weaklings around here. But we'll see. The Ezreal does have Last Whisper. Stun, ulti, and then eating all the CC, eating the Diana ulti. And we take out the Azir, but trading 1 for 1. Whenever you play like this, you're always spinning yourself for your allies, right? You got the party started for them. And then playing like this is always going to be a little bit like you're sacrificing for your team, right? And that's always pretty hard to do in solo queue because team bad. You can carry, but can your team? Probably not. So Ezreal gets the 2 kills, and then it's just making their carry stronger. And then Blitzcrank kills the Ezreal. Cool. Alrighty, well, a bunch of kills onto him for the fight started by us, so that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and skip to... I'm going to finish this off just by skipping to every single dragon fight and seeing how we play those out, because, again, it's very, very long, and a lot of just chaotic stuff happens into the mid-game. And we're probably not even going to participate, huh? We don't have TP. Like, it's really, really in your... especially, like, past 14 minutes, keeping this top turret doesn't even matter. It's fine to just go to the objectives to fight, so you really need to keep track of when these dragons are spawning. Because, like, whatever's happening bot side here, if you're there, you know, it's going to be way easier. It's going to be way more likely that you can actually carry the game if you're here versus staying top and farming. Because that's all that we're achieving top lane is just farming. And we're already strong enough. And then, let's say we go to dragon, Teemo stays top, he pushes that wave, we fight for the dragon, we get the dragon, we recall, by the time we're top lane we can catch the waves that Teemo crashed the same way that after we push out our wave and then maybe get a roam off mid and then come back, the same way you would catch most of the wave, you would do the same whenever you play for the objectives instead of staying in the lane like you do. Joke. We got Spirit Visage, we got Merc Treads, we got a Phage, we got it all. Okay, and we're already chunked before the dragon's even up here. We're the first one here, and you don't want to start this solo. Where's our allies? Warwick's here, Syndred's down here, Blitzcrank's here, Kai'Sa's here, so everyone's really far away. It's not in your interest to start this. Gives the enemy too much opportunity, and then we take like half our HP for it, which is no good. Joke, and then a recall, which is no good either. You just want to stay and fight this. If Azir takes this turret, it's whatever. He's not going to end the game up here. Let him take the turret, let him take this turret and the inhib. We don't care. We don't care at all. It's just free farm for someone on our team. Whereas if you stay here, you can have impact on this fight, and you're going to have to carry through having impact on these fights. It's a big part of ValorGoBurrrrrrr. Alrighty, nice. It was for the Dragon Soul too, and we're recalling for top lane? Come on. And then we take out the... Alrighty, Azir goes from 0 and 11 to 0, or 0 and 10 to 0 and 11. Was it worth it? Let's say like we stay in this fight and then our allies take less damage. After we get the dragon, maybe we get the Baron, and then we just push. Everyone recalls, and then you just push it down mid and in the game, for example. A very clean way to do things where your team has such a lead. Oh yeah, but if we recall for top lane, we can't do things like that. So a very easy thing to add here. Mid game, play for dragons when they are up. Because the team fights that are around the dragons, ValorGoBurrrrrr really does well in them, and that's most of what you have to play for. Staying in a side lane and powering up usually doesn't translate. In this game, it kind of is, because we're getting really strong. But you get to have your cake and eat it too, kind of, with ValorGoBurrrrr when you're ahead, because you can fight for these dragons and then go back to the side lanes and still farm. But you want to like get the objectives and then push it, you know? Kill them, take the turrets. Kill them, get the objective, take the turrets, take the inhibs, win the game. Take that, Ezreal. The Ezreal was the one with the lead too. The big ValorGoBurrrrrr right there. Boom. Okay, going a little bit too ham here. Let's see, let's see. Ask yourself, where's your allies? Blitzcrank's right here, not even a carry, doesn't do anything. Basically not even a champion. Warwick's way over here, Syndra's dead, and Kai'Sa's in base. So this is all you, big man. Let's see. All you with no ulti. And then you get the Zillion ulti, and it's fine to back off from here. There's nothing else to achieve. You kill the Zillion, and then you're not going to get... The inhib's already down, and then the wave's too far away for us to get the turrets, but let's see how it plays out. The flash in. Oh my god. Azir probably going to go down. Come on, somebody die. The Teemo Shroom, we're hitting the turret, and that's about as poorly as it can go, huh? So after you get the Zillion ulti, just back off there. It's about as simple as that, but you never know if you don't go. But now we know. Alrighty, so looks to be the last fight here. The 20,000th Elder Dragon. This game's lasting way too long. No contest from the enemy. And then we can recall, TP back. If you have enough gold, get an iron elixir. Yeah, get an iron elixir or a blue elixir. Probably an iron elixir though. And you TP to attack ball lane here, which is kind of weird. With this fight already happening up here. So the fight's kind of going this way. If you just TP here and then run it down mid, you win the game. So you TP to here, and then here's the Azir, here's the Zillion. And the Diana's not involved in the fight. If we kill the Diana, it doesn't change anything that's really happening on the map. Whereas with this, if we get involved with this, you kill the Azir, you kill the Zillion, maybe kill an Ezreal that's like in the Fog of War or something over here, and then you take this mid wave and run it down and win the game. So probably play for that. If you can save your ulti for these two turrets here, even better. But yeah, chasing the Diana like this, you just give up your team, and you need your team to end the game. There goes our Kai'Sa, there goes our Blitzcrank, and we could probably just kill these two guys solo if we didn't move down towards the Diana prior. Might even still get him. Crime pays, baby. If Azir dies. Okay, nice. Then we run it down. Pow, 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 pow. So overall, it was a pretty okay game. Actually getting away with the laning phase won't actually happen though. If the Teemo, like any ranged top laner that actually auto attacks you once in the first like 8 minutes, this is not how this plays out. You want a Doran shield, you want second wind, and you want unsealed spellbook in these sort of matchups. But you kind of got away with it, and getting the kills onto the Teemo is good enough. So It's not like you have to beat yourself up for it. It's just kind of adjust. The main things is just play for the CS early. Be okay with doing nothing levels like 1 to 5, letting the waves come into you, because the whole challenge is usually managing your HP from getting poked by the Teemo, which you didn't even have to do because this guy's not hitting you, and then trading that for the CS, and then managing your recalls and whatnot off that. The recalls are just random. How you attack the Teemo is random. Him not doing anything is random. There's a lot of chaos. And then after you get your first, second recall off, you have some power, and you have the wave pushing towards the Teemo. If you can get it to crash, then you can just leave your lane and then look to make plays elsewhere. TP bot, run mid, ulti, fight for Rift Herald, something. Get something going that's not in the lane because you can't actually attack the Teemo. And then mid game, play for the objectives. Fight with your team wherever they're fighting. ValorGoBurrrrrr is really, that's what you should be playing for. It's where he has his impact and can carry the games. You know, fight for the objective. After the objective, dive mid with your ulti. Dive a side lane turret, something like that. And then after the play, don't stick around. Take the one turret or something, then recall, and then spend your gold, come back to the side lane, and collect the wave that was pushed in. Something like that. So, yeah, hope that helps, and give me a 5-star review. Peace.